and CEO of Convai. And what Convai does is enables all your virtual worlds with the latest in conversational AI and agentic AI. And today I'm going to talk about three main things where, firstly, the landscape of soft skills and hard skills that are required for any kind of XR-based training. Secondly, I'm going to talk about a brief product walkthrough of Convai, and then end with some real use cases, real-world demos. So firstly, before I dive into all of that, I want to briefly talk about why I started Convai and what's the motivation behind Convai and where Convai is going. So oddly enough, since I have been young, like in my early teenage years, I've been wondering how the human mind works and how does consciousness work and what is self-awareness and all of those things, which got me into AI quite early on. But even super traditional AI was very rule-based, but then came deep learning 2015, and I was super excited. That is very close to how humans learn, learning from data. But even then, most of the AI, including ChatGPT and all of the latest large language models, are very text-based. At best, you may find some voice in, voice out. But we humans, since we are babies and infants, first thing we learn is spatial awareness, right? We learn to navigate ourselves, maneuver ourselves in the 3D world, and then we learn the language that is grounded on that spatial anchors, on the 3D world understanding that we have. And we view the world through this embodied self, right, and have our understanding. And XR, or 3D simulations, is the best place for enabling AI to have an embodied self, as well as experiencing the world just like we humans do. So that is something that has been driving me. And I actually wrote a blog way back when I was doing my thesis track. 2017 is this blog. I wrote this. I was a big fan of Nvidia, and wrote this, The Dark Night of Deep Learning blog, where I specifically wrote that along with my thesis track. So this is my thesis paper right there. But I mentioned, why 3D spatial awareness is going to be the next thing. 2017, so I was like a little too early. But then shortly after, I also got a privilege to join Nvidia, right? And I worked there for about 4 years, where I published all about, got a chance to work on some tremendous work on BERT, the early large language model training, before it was called large language model, and the inference workloads. And I also got a chance to work directly with Jensen himself on some of the demos back then. So this is 2020. This was the first 3D avatar chatbot from Nvidia. And I'm hoping I'll meet some of my previous Nvidia colleagues here today, whom I also got a chance to work with before. So that happened, right? And then I launched Convai 2.5 years ago. And that was specifically to solve the problem of this embodied self connecting the latest of large language models or conversational AI inside virtual worlds into the embodied avatar self, right? And like you see, it's like take an avatar, give them a mind of their own with their backstories, personalities, conversation abilities, and now they effectively come to life where they can perceive the 3D world, have natural conversation, move around the world, effectively have full understanding of the 3D world, right? And I was super lucky to be, again, given a shout out by Jensen himself, right? Like effectively he helped launch Convai 2.5 years ago. Here's a demo that...
With a framework and avatar tool maker called Convai, and together we developed this demo you're about to see. Okay, run it, please.
Hey, Jen, how are you?
Unfortunately, not so good.
How come?
I'm worried about the crime around here. It's gotten bad lately. My ramen shop got caught.
So this demo went super viral, where this was effectively in a game-like scenario, but you could see how this will help with your soft skills training scenario, right? And any kind of interview, any kind of one-on-one interaction could be in a very realistic sense, back and forth. That was real-time conversation that was happening, no prescripted, nothing, open-ended. This was a demo that we did 2.5 years ago with Nvidia and the exceptional team there. So that's where it started from. And then when we made a development platform for everyone to develop any kind of 3D spatial aware applications. And what we saw is that the #1 use case by far was training. Learning and training was the #1 use case. There were other use cases like gaming and brand marketing and all that, but training was by far the number one, and we decided to focus on that about a year ago. And so what I'm going to talk about is my learning of the entire landscape of soft skills and hard skills. Now, we can put soft skill in one end and hard skills in another end, where soft skills has various things like conflict management and leadership training, and all of these aspects where you need this one-on-one interaction, like a social interaction with an avatar, with a conversational basis, where people can practice their conversational skills. It could be great with sales training, right? Like they need to know a lot of knowledge-specific information that they need to talk about, right? Especially in like heavy equipment or in anything that has like heavy product, whether it's defense or manufacturing or healthcare. It's a very product-specific knowledge that the sales team needs to know and practice. So the AI is pretty good there in terms of doing those mock role-play scenarios. On the other side, it is the hard skills aspect, meaning they need to know how to operate the device, or like how to demonstrate the device, and various other aspects, which is also specifically needed. And AI can be a great assistance there, as well as help them guide those training scenarios. So that's the two spectrum of hard skills and soft skills. However, what I learned in my last 1-2 years is that it's not actually binary of hard skills and soft skills. It's actually a mixed thing. So effectively, I would put it in a spectrum of soft skills on one side and hard skills on another side. And I know if you all can see, so basically there's one side is purely conversational skills, and on the other side is very hands-on aspect when it comes to the hard skills aspect. Now, soft skills, when it's purely conversational, it's primarily around where the environment is not a big factor, right? Like when the 3D environment is not a big factor, meaning you could be in an office-like setup, one-on-one interaction. It's primarily either to learn, tutor, or role play, right? So the environment does not play a big factor, meaning you could run this in a 2D-like setup. It doesn't have to be an XR setup, right? So that's one part. And on the other side, it is hands-on training, meaning literally they need to be moving things, holding things, touching, navigating around. And so that's like the two large spectrum. But there are things in between. Now, the second one could be where environment does matter. You may not need to move around, pick up things, et cetera, but environment does matter. Now, what kind of scenarios are those? It could be a situational thing, where things are stressful. So you need to see that, something has broken down, or a calamity has happened, or, somebody has gotten injured, and you need to be immersed in the scenario to have that stressful decision-making scenario to role play with the avatars or, the characters there. So there could be those, any kind of safety and health, risk-specific scenario. You need to be aware of the environment where you are at and have that conversation specific to that. So environment and immersiveness does matter, right? You may not still need to navigate around them. The third one is where you do need to navigate. You may not need to hold, move things, and XR heavy, but you still, environment matters, and you need to navigate around them. So tour guide scenarios, or digital walkthroughs and things like that. So we have seen, or even product demonstrations, right? Like where it's your sales team, they need to practice pitching, how to pitch the product, but they need to also have the product around them, and maybe even operate the product while pitching, while practicing. So like these kind of scenarios does matter where XR is important. Like you could do without XR in the purely conversational skills, but rest of the stack, you do need 3D immersion, right? So that's one of the things that I realized, that it's not binary, it's a spectrum. And so that's the landscape. And this list is obviously not exhaustive in terms of the different use cases. There are many more. These are some of the most talked about ones that we have seen. And obviously the benefits are quite obvious, and I'm sure you have heard amazing talks before me who have shown great ROI, but I'll briefly mention those because those are the reasons why we do it. We have seen 10x cost reduction, right? In terms of whether it's your quick learning lookup centralized management system through agentic learning, where otherwise it will take you 2 days to fetch that information. Now you can quickly look up and get that information. Or, it's like just simply improve learning and training outcomes. So basically within that, we have seen that real-time personalized feedback for any of those soft skills, hard skills training is a big factor, right? The feedback aspect. The second one is the personalized learning and training. Now, what AI is great at, and you all would have experienced this already, is that it personalizes to who you are. What's your goal? What's your objective? What's your, what you're trying to solve? What's your past history? The AI effectively has long-term memory, and it is able to personalize with every query for you, right? So it's not a canned answer. It's like personalized, specific to your requirements. So that's one of the great things which improves learning quite significantly. And obviously, this boosts learner engagements and retention, and they're able to, and again, it's not like if you think of all of the materials that is there in your LMS systems today or your usual learning systems, it's mostly passive. They're either reading or watching a video. It's not an active learning, right? So this active learning of interaction, right, where the AI quizzes you of a question, and now you have to think and answer, in an active manner, enforces the retention and engagement quite heavily. And obviously, the freedom for the learner to go deep into an area that they are interested in, right, is quite important, where they can ask any questions, ask any, anything that they're curious about, and have an open-ended thing that they don't have to follow the particular procedure that's set up. They can also go directly into some areas that they're interested in. So it's like improve learning drastically and reduces cost by an order of magnitude. So that's the benefits that we see. I'm going to briefly walk through our platform across a video, and this will give you an idea of how people use our product from a creation standpoint. So it starts with writing the backstory, where you give them a narrative, connect with all your documents through your MCP server, give the character a voice, lots of languages to choose from for the character can speak, connect with your own large language models, give the character a personality. And once the character is ready, the mind of the character is ready, then you choose an avatar, and there are hundreds of avatars to choose from, but you can also craft your own avatar, your own custom avatar that you have uploaded, whichever is appropriate. And once that avatar is connected, then the next thing you will do is just quickly chat and test with the character. So there's like a video call-like setup where the character can see you, you can see the character. It's a fully voice-based interaction that you can have, whether to role play or to test the character simply. Now, there are many scenarios where you need to take that avatar into a 3D scenario. So in this case, this bartender character, we opened up a restaurant scene and basically import the character inside it. And next, we can just simply move around the world, just like an XR environment or game-like environment, have a conversation, voice-based conversation with the character, and the character can also move about in the environment, right? So it's not just a video call-like thing. This is a fully XR aspect. And one other thing you will notice, this is running in the browser, right? So this is fully pixel streamed, meaning you can run this from any device that has a browser, and this high-fidelity environment is streamed into your browser, right? Whichever device you're running from. And then you can ask the character to perform different actions and animations. In this case, it asks, hey, can you pour me a drink? And it says, sorry, I cannot pour it, but the real reason is actually does not have the animation to pour the drink. That's one of the biggest challenges. How do you add the animation? So we created this app called XR Animation Capture App, which effectively allows you to wear your XR headset and do that animation, whatever animation you need, you do that animation, and then you can save that animation, and then you can give that animation to the AI. So the AI can actually perform how you performed in real world, and now based on how you performed it, the AI can simply emulate you into any new scenarios, and now this character can pour the drink that we asked them to, right? So you can add any new animations through the system, through the platform where the AI learns how to perform such a thing. So there's also other things that you can do with this tool where you can make this a tour guide, so you can import any environments. It's very easy to scan an environment now with Gaussian splat and whatnot. You import your environments, and now you can drop the character, mark the places you want the AI character to be a tour guide. And obviously, this is all connected with your knowledge bank. So in this case, the AI welcomes you. It takes you step by step to the different locations where you want to learn. In this case, it's asking, the user is asking about the different devices. What does this do? And and this is all connected with the knowledge bank. All of your knowledge repositories and everything is known to the AI, so they can answer the answer, like from all the training manuals and all of the PowerPoints and PDFs and everything. The AI can answer because you have connected it through the MCP server or whatnot, the mind of the character when we were designing it, right? So that's one of the things that you can do, fully 3D immersive tour guide setup. our platform is actually rated as the highest of all Gen AI tools across all of the virtual world platforms. The most popular ones you will need, you might be using is Unreal Engine, Unity, or maybe 3JS and Omniverse. We also have Omniverse extension connected. And across all of these, our platform, a tool, is rated the highest by far across all Gen AI tools, right? So developers really love our platform. And it's a fully self-serve product there as well. So there's that, and these are the, plugins in those marketplaces. So one of the things that we realized that it's not just enough to have the AI character mind and in your virtual world. You have to have a platform where you can test and quickly have answers. So we have created all modalities of interaction with the AI. Now, this is a very, you will see a tool, this is very ChatGPT-like, where it's like a quick lookup with your answer with all the thing that you did with your MCP servers, right? And you can ask that I want this training set up, or I want this thing, how do I do it? You could do it in a voice mode, you could do it in text mode. You could also do it in a full video call avatar mode, like a role play. So this is a tool that you can simply use. And in our case, all of these are like source open, so you could like modify it however you'd like, customize it, talk to any of the characters that you created previously, right, in a very simplistic environment. Effectively, what you see is there are all of these modalities covered once you deploy the Convai stack, whether it's text, like a simple LLM chat kind of thing, whether it's voice mode, avatar video call mode, or full 3D immersive setup, right? You get one deployment, all of the use cases. I'll come back briefly to what I touched before in soft skills and hard skills, because one of the other things that I've observed is that purely conversational skills is more about role play, right? Where you're practicing a scenario or a setup. And hard skills, where you see, is very much like assistance. Like, tell me how do I operate this, or what is the next step I need to do here, right? So it's like Q&A oriented is on the hard skill side, not so much role play. And on the soft skill side, it is very much a role play where I'm like mocking a particular scenario, like mock setup of a particular scenario. And then there is everything in between, which could be a combination of assistance and role play. So one of the cases of hard skills is that you may not need an embodied avatar, but you do need the conversational AI agent. So for example, in the first case, and I'll talk about this demo more at the end, this is actually one with our partner and Buendea NASA, where you see the AI is guiding them step by step for what they need to do, and it's a full conversational agent and character that guides them that you need to do this next, and that next, and et cetera, et cetera. There's no avatar, but it's a conversational AI that's happening within the 3D immersive setup. The other one is, you may have all your designs, like CAD designs, for example, right? Or your, sustainment tools, or any kind of setup that uses 3D simulations for like your training simulations, right? Or training setup, whether it's internal training or customer-facing training. You could effectively add AI agent inside the simulation. Now that could be a fully conversational setup where you could ask the AI, how do I do this, or or what is this used for, and things like that. So whether you developed in Unity, Unreal, wherever, it will work in all of those setups. So that's disembodied. Now there's embodied AI, meaning that's the role play setup for primarily, but it could also be an avatar-based assistance, right? And it could be a 2D video call setup that runs in all kinds of browsers and whatnot, or it could be the 3D XR role play as well, right, as we saw before. So that's embodied. Now, both of those cases, you may want a personalized feedback, right, for both the learner as well as the supervisor, right? Now, this is a assessment UI where they have been graded. I don't know if you can see. They have been graded on knowledge, on how their tone was, how their delivery was, all of that. And you can, as a learning instruction designer, right, you could actually mention your custom rubrics, the things, the assessments that you want to do that will drive your business outcomes, right? I want my salesperson to be knowledgeable about all of this new product that I want to release, right? So they need to be able to answer all of these questions correctly, right? Did they answer all of those questions correctly? The AI can give you a report of that, right? So basically that's one example, and you could apply custom rubrics to all kinds of scenarios, right? And so this gives you a full assessment and analytics on that. Now let's look at a few use cases before I finish, right? And we have very polished demos and everything, but I'm not going to show you the polished demos. What I'm going to show you is in the real world how people are using that they have shared publicly, right? So there are many use cases that I cannot talk about, but some that they have been shared publicly. So the first is this is from the German Federal Armed Forces, where they have done, this is firstly a clone of Colonel Karl Hartmann, right, in the German military, and it's a full digital twin clone, and they are creating war games where the colonel is giving orders to the soldiers and whatnot that they need to execute, right, and they can have a full conversational setup as well as they can execute. It is connected with the rest of the war game pipeline. So that's one of the use cases that we see, that we have seen in the military, among with many other. I talked about this briefly. I cannot show the real one, but there's corollary of an actual digital twin setup for a manufacturing scene tour guide. This is another one from our partner. I think they're called Crush the Interview.
A page in your app is returning a 503 error. What could have caused this?
There could be many reasons for that. I would start by checking the Kubernetes service configuration.
So this is a mixed reality environment where it's like doing a full mock interview setup. This is I think a safety training.
Hello there, I'm Alex Thompson, the warehouse supervisor and safety officer here. We've arrived at the PPE section. Please choose the right equipment for our tour, which includes a helmet and a visibility vest.
So it can basically guide them through the different steps in a safety training environment. The next one is Accenture.
I just love this city. Let me know if you need more recommendations.
Yeah, I want to try some of the seafood around here. Can you give me some recommendations?
So it's a full, basically a conversational AI assistant, right, that can help people with any kind of questions and answers setup. This is done in the San Francisco office of Accenture. Yeah, so that's that. And the final one, which I will end with, is done with our partner Buendea, who works with NASA. And this is one of the demos where you will see full high-fidelity simulation that is using both embodied and disembodied characters, right? So let me play that. This is a full digital twin of the moon environment with real replicas of actual objects. Exceptional work by our partner, Buendea. The AI has full multimodal ability. So what's happening? AI is giving instructions what you need to do. So you need to follow the highlighted path. You now need to open the power station because you have to repair the power station as an astronaut. So this is for the astronaut training, right? So the astronaut is learning in this manner. And the AI can guide them. You can ask any question. Now the AI is seeing what you are seeing, right, at every moment. So you can ask any question that the AI is contextually, visually aware.
This appears to be a basaltic rock, which is quite common on the lunar surface. The dark coloration and angular features are characteristic of volcanic basalt.
The user asks what kind of rock this is, and the AI answered that. These are embodied characters who could be real multiplayer characters, as well as AI-powered crew members that you can interact with, right? And these are the full digital twin. This is the ISS environment. So these are the different areas where you can see the AI. And one thing, there was a question before, like one of the main things that we focus on is that while you can use our cloud-based service, but we specialize on on-premise deployment, right? Especially for any kind of defense, or very secure deployments. All of the things that you saw before in this presentation could be deployed completely on-prem, air-gapped environments, right, where you can connect with, because you have to connect with your sensitive data to get the best out of the system, right? So all of that you can do completely on-prem, right? And a lot of what I showed you is going to be source available, meaning you can modify them, adapt them, edit them, however you would like when you deploy in your environment. So that's that. We also have a booth, 307. I hope I get to chat with all of you, and then I'd love to carry on the conversation. Thank you so much.